What unrealistic things in movies annoy the hell out of you? It always irks me when two characters are talking in a car and the driver makes prolonged eye contact with the passenger. What bothers me most about that is when you start wondering if it's part of the plot or if it's just crappy directing. Like whenever the driver looks away for more than a glance, I start expecting the passenger to shriek "look out" and point at something. And the trope of them being T-boned by a truck for plot reasons. An it guy/girl who knows everything about computers, networking, all operating systems, all applications, hacking, programming languages, etc. without consulting Google. I'm hacking the mainframe now. Smacking keyboard sounds. We are in. Ding sound. They're onto us. Smacking keyboard sound intensifies. Hacking in movies. Typing aggressively for a few seconds. Alright, I'm in. Actual hacking. Hey there, this is Dave from It. We are having some trouble with your account. Could you provide us with some information? When someone throws a grenade into a building and manages to make a nuclear level explosion out of it. The way frag grenades become huge plumes of fire annoys the crap out of me. Seeing someone die because of flying shrapnel isn't as entertaining as seeing a freaking mushroom in the air, unfortunately. The new kid always arrives mid-lecture, gets full on the spot introduction. Hell, as if the professor actually cares who they are. Or in high school cases, like showing up late on your first day, would somehow be acceptable. At my high school, tardiness in the first week of a semester was forgiven because the school was huge and finding the room you needed to be in could prove tricky. This was 15 years ago, so maybe times have changed, though. Any hospital scenes where someone is on a ventilator, but they are not intubated. Basically any hospital scenes. Or they pull out an fourth cannula and there isn't an instant river of blood all over the place. I had surgery about 8 years ago, and after they removed my fourth they told me to hold pressure on my hand. I did, for a few minutes, and I made the dumb decision to release it to check if it would bleed. It didn't immediately, so I thought I was good. 10 seconds pass, and the nurse was like, "You know you're bleeding all over the floor, right?" I look back and there is indeed a river of blood behind me. When someone says, "Let me show you," and pick up their conversation 45 minutes later when they arrive. What? They didn't talk about it during the drive? Did they just drive in silence? Tell me. No, you have to see it. Really? Just tell me. No. Morpheus. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. Neo takes the red pill. Morpheus irreversibly pulls Neo into a post-apocalyptic hellscape of misery and death. Shows him a video of what the Matrix is. Neo, maybe you could have just freaking shown me this video in the first place. When characters have a perfect chance to explain things fully, but instead they only speak in incomplete thoughts or fragments. Oh my god, that's so annoying. Especially when there is a misunderstanding which could be solved with one single sentence, but the character is just like, "No, it's not like that. No, let me." It drives me crazy, lol. Happens in many TV shows and movies. Also, nobody ever texts like, "Hey, that was my sister. She's staying at my place and was using the shower when you walked in." Easy. No, they just stand in the doorway staring awkwardly going, "Wait, it's not what it looks like." Well, what is it, buddy? Just spit it out. When they have just woken up after a long sleep and they look fresh as a daisy and don't have an urgent need to pee. This is my number one reason for waking up other than routine. How the main character knocks out the enemy for 5 minutes, then runs 10 blocks, makes a left and runs another 5 blocks, only to have his enemy get up, run, look around for 15 seconds, and know exactly where the main character went. Or more infuriating, when they run 17 miles and open a locked door, and the pursuer is on the other side of the door. Like, bro, if you know exactly where your prey is heading, and you've got Scotty on speed dial to beam you up, just save yourself some effort, and go there first instead of running after them. How did you get back here before us? How did we? Crank. Well, yeah, got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense. When someone asks someone out on a date, and they just say yes and then goodbye. The conversation never includes those little details like what day and time, or if they do, it's like, "I'll see you at 7. but with no explanation of where. Are they just stalking them and will find them wherever the frick they are at 7? They addressed this in the Netflix movie Isn't It Romantic? Liam Hemsworth's character gives his phone number to Rebel Wilson's character by writing it on rose petals and pours them into her hat. She points out that they are out of order now and she has no way of calling him. He says he'll pick her up for a date and drives off while she's standing in the road yelling where? You don't know where I live. I want to read the menu and decide what to order first. Actually laughed my head off in that one. For some reason I read this as Liam Neeson. Pictured a totally different scene. Then reread your post and actually felt disappointed. It may sound strange, but coffee in the movies annoys the hell out of me. You can tell there's never any coffee in the cup. It even sounds hollow when placed on a surface. And when was the last time someone handed you a fresh coffee and you immediately tip the cup 90 degrees and take a huge sip without ever checking the temperature? Drives me nuts. Wait, you don't shotgun your boiling hot coffee immediately and then pretend to take sips from the empty cup. Weirdo. The boiling flesh rolling down my throat is my favorite part. Everyone has an awesome house or apartment regardless of their job, unless the character is specifically supposed to be poor. A cousin of mine that loved New York, but had to move out of it in the early 80s because of the outrageously high rents, pointed that out to me. He said the movies and TV shows make it seem as though anyone working as a waiter, bartender, or even a part-time writer of a column for some obscure newspaper, a la Sex in the City, can afford at least a nice loft apartment with decent furniture and still have plenty of money to blow on dinners at fashionable diners and designer clothes/shoes. Now damned way, says he. The New York and LA apartments in movies are hilarious. Always enormous. In real life the tenants would have to be making 6 figures at least, but somehow they are middle school teachers and waiters. They use tiger sounds for a lion. They do this in some nature documentaries as well and it infuriates me cause if you're making something educational at least make it realistic. I suppose a related one would be use of red-tailed hawk calls for bald eagles to make them sound more intimidating. Larger birds are generally quiet as it is. The hooded vulture has no call at all, believe it or not. I've said this before in another post. Person 1, hey did you hear about X? Person 2, no, I didn't. What is it? Person 1, it's all over the news, let me show you. Proceeds to turn on TV to exact news channel talking about X. Hey, turn on the TV. A pistol having more rounds than a WWII Normandy machine gun. Silencer is more silent than a girl's sneeze. Enemies can't shoot a target 10 feet in front of them. Protagonist can shoot a target 1 mile away with a pistol. There is always a free parking slot right in front of the building that they are going to. I feel your age, brother. Grown adults playing kids. High school boys clearly in their mid-20s that are ripped and have no skin imperfections. Even though I like the movie, the kids in Remember the Titans all looked like 30. The way people pick open locks. Nothing about it looks real. Mostly, they just channel their inner lock-picking lawyer. Click out of 1. 2 is binding. Women being chased always trip and fall. Except when it's inconvenient to the plot. Exhibit A, the lady from Jurassic World outrunning a T-Rex in heels. In her defense it's pretty easy to run in heels. If you need to, you just balance on the front part of your foot, rather than the heel. Obviously it's uncomfortable but better than being eaten by a T-Rex. If blood is needed for some reason, don't make a little cut someone convenient. Slit your entire palm, which would cause so much pain, and then shrug it off when the action starts. The Winchesters would like a word on how necessary it is to almost chop off an entire appendage for a drop or 2 pf blood. I think it was a joke from the writers cause it really was ridiculous af. You would think their palms would just be horrible scar tissue by now. Soldiers always using automatic fire with their assault rifles. In reality, automatic fire wastes ammunition and is only used in special situations. Reminds me of Archer, whenever Cyril screams suppressing fire, and always misses. The regular occurrence of people ending calls abruptly without saying goodbye in any form. And, while on the phone, never leaving enough time for the person on the other end of the call to speak. There needs to be a few 20-second stretches where the person just listens in silence. Sorry for the multi-comment, but connected to your concept, they should throw in an awkward silence directly followed by both people starting to speak and then saying oh, sorry, no, you go to each other. When someone gets knocked off their feet by an explosive shockwave then jumps right up and keeps running. Seriously, if you're close enough to get knocked over, you're not going to be running anywhere. All your organs are an inch further back than they were before. Your entire head has equalized and your teeth, nose, eyes, and ears hurt. You're also deaf for a moment. Black Hawk Down did this, right when Spud stood up next to that gun. Deaf for the rest of the movie. Lol yes. Bomb shockwaves turn brains into cooked liver mush. One movie that got it right was The Hurt Locker. Early on, a guy is wearing a full ballistic suit with helmet and he's near a car that's loaded with explosives. He realizes that it's about to blow, and he turns and begins trying to run away, but bomb suit is heavy AF, and he's kinda just like shuffling instead of being able to run. The bomb blows, and he gets hammered despite not being right on top of the bomb. The face shield in his helmet just splatters fully red. Monologuing bad guys. The Austin Powers movies made a huge running joke out of this cause it is completely heinous. You sly dog, you caught me monologuing. Bald armpits in apocalyptic women. They're smeared with the dirt and grime of living on the move and hiding from zombies for weeks on end, yet somehow find the time for a quick shave every other day. And they still have semi-decent visible makeup. You've been stranded here for X days, hiding in the woods, and still have perfect eyeliner? In every Gotham movie, women have makeup on every moment of their day. Go to sleep with perfect makeup, wake up with perfect makeup. After shower, makeup still on. The only exceptions are when it's intentionally smeared for dramatic crying. When we see only one text message on a phone between very good friends or family members. Yeah, in reality you'd see some message above it like, were you able to finally poop? Well, were you? There is never traffic, unless it's a plot point. Ooh, I can feel this one, whenever I'm on the road. Why the frick is it always cars on my side? In movies all the cars are on the other side, frickin' jerks. Having a conversation with the back facing the person you're having a conversation with. There's an episode of 30 Rock where Liz Lemon walks up behind Jack in an art gallery and he immediately says, "Hello, Lemon." Then it's revealed he was just saying that to anyone who walked up behind him, waiting for it to be her. That and his staring window in his office play on this trope so well. You've been avoiding me, Lemon. Gap, how do you do that? To be perfectly honest, the first few people I did that to were not you, but here we are. Every scene related to it, CS. They're just using random words that belong to these topics, but it doesn't make any sense most of the time. Furthermore, things that are displayed on screens, in like hacking scenes, are stupid too. In one scene there was a terminal where the hacking person just used a few cd/pwd/ls commands. Same for almost every other scientific topic. If you really pay attention they're saying nonsense only. Same thing for biology. For instance, in Red Planet the aliens were called nematodes, but looked like beetles. Nematodes are worms. Every movie with science or tech needs science or tech consultants. Anybody who watched SpongeBob knows what a nematode is. SMH. Bullcrap science and mathematics. I just found out time is a really complex matrix. Avengers Endgame. We need the component to make my miniaturization machine work. Ant-Man second. And let us not forget the legendary mashes keyboard randomly for 14s. I'm in. It's better when they lampshade it by not even trying. Throw in real words and expressions in the wrong places, and it's annoying. Make up everything, and it becomes a joke. This is my timmy-wimmy detector. It goes ding when there's stuff. It can also cook an egg at 30 paces. But the super radioactive material it uses is too utterly safe to use without a lead-lined suit. Men aggressively pursuing women like asshole stalkers until the women eventually fall for their rough around the edge charm. Just once I'd love to see the woman actually file a restraining order just to frick up the anticipated love story cliche. I would love to see an anti-romcom. 500 Days of Summer I think is the anti-romcom movie you're looking for. When scenes are supposed to last hours or days and no one goes to the toilet ever. HMM Twilight. Honestly, someone in the Hunger Games must have died taking a crap. If the goal is to kill all others, you attack when they are most vulnerable. There's no way anyone ever held it in the whole time, so the opportunity was there for someone, right? The books actually pointed out that, since they were eating and drinking so little, they were producing very little waste. Fistfights. If it's something like The Matrix or a superhero movie, it can be forgiven. But a normal person cannot A. take 20 punches to the head/face and still be able to make smart ass comments, and B. give 20 punches to the head and not have suffered severe damage to your hands. Skulls are harder than fingers, people. Or someone getting knocked unconscious and then waking up, rubbing their jaw, and the potentially life-threatening concussion is magically gone. A lot of the deaths in horror movies, there's somewhere someone just gets knocked out and they're somehow dead. And the flip side, the protagonist gets shot and or stabbed, their Achilles tendon severed, and their skull pummeled in, followed by them blowing up a building and walking away like some sort of a badass. Cut to a few days later, and they've got a few cuts and bruises and their arm is in a sling. Unhealthy relationships being portrayed as normal. Yes, they always do this with LGBT shows/characters. Like, this dude is bullying me and being homophobic, but is secretly gay and likes me. That crap is toxic. Elmo reminds me of Adam and Eric from Sex Education. Getting into a car by breaking the window, then sitting on all the broken glass. It is safety glass, which isn't going to cut you by sitting on it. Nice try. Ask doctor looking for more patients. Secret agents driving around in €1,000,000 Supercars. Don't forget the brand deal that resulted in James Bond driving in Ford cars for 3 movies. I know 007 should drive an Aston Martin, but he also plays Texas Hold'em now instead of Baccarat, so times are changing. Hey big C's. Hey little bro. Do siblings never call each other C's or bro? I'm an only child, so I don't know. If my sibling and I are in the same room as each other, I don't even waste time using their name, I just start talking to them. We don't have a dog, they can figure out who I'm addressing pretty easily. Also, a lot of dork, bitch, or jerk face. When a baby is born and a freaking toddler is handed to the parent, like, no. Yeah, this is dumb. Like, I know there are laws about how young a baby can be to appear in films, like you can't have a legit newborn, but try to avoid using a baby that is clearly over a year old. But I guess it's like how they cast 30-year-olds to play 15-year-olds. I heard an interview with a Call the Midwife cast where they said that the babies are 7 days old on set. Sounds mad when you think about parents just casually having their 7-day-old babies being handled in busy environments by multiple people with all sorts of chemicals, hairspray etc. and germs about.